Good morning and welcome to South Valley Unitarian Universal Society. My name is Luci Malin and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. And I'm a member of the worship committee, and I joined this church in 1988. Come, whoever you are welcome here. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here. No matter what your gender, whom you love, how you speak, or whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. You are welcome here whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears in your eyes. You are welcome here. No matter what you've experienced in the past, no matter what awaits you in the future, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God all of the time, some of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. This is a community of open minds, loving hearts, and willing hands. And there's just a few more people drifting in. Please check your Thursday Happenings newsletter online for information and details about what's going on at South Valley. There's lots and lots of activities that happen during the week, both daytime and evening here, that you might be interested in. And one of our big events, one of the two biggest I guess we have in our church year, is the auction. And the auction is where we come up with various items that you think other people might be interested in. It can be a dinner at somebody's house. It can be going on a hike. It could be buying a pair of tickets to a local restaurant that donated. So we have a bunch of services and items that will be all around this room, and you can bid on them. And it's one very important portion of our annual budget. So I hope you'll come prepared for a party. A lot of people have asked me, like, well, how did you know about that party the other night at the Renshaw's? I'm like, because I bought it at the auction. So there's lots of parties and things that are going to happen during the next year. You can buy your way into those parties by participating in this part of the social activities. And it's always very fun. And the auction will be very fun. I think the jam band is singing, there'll be dancing, there'll be food. And it's Saturday, November 9th. And Kristen May is here, who is the chair of the auction. Huge job.
Thank you, Luci. Yeah, I am on the auction committee this year, and I'll just make a quick logistic addendum to that announcement that Luci made. So yes, we are less than 3 weeks away from the auction. It's coming up quick. So I challenge us all to go on, buy our tickets, myself included, donate our items. It really helps us as a team to kind of get stuff coming in as a trickle rather than a flood at the very end. So outside on the poster, just right outside the sanctuary, there's a poster for the auction. There's little cards on there. It has the auction website where you can go to do all the things. It also has my email. So if you have any questions, need any help, feel free to email me. My phone number is in Breeze. You're welcome to call me or text me. Someone will usually be downstairs after service. I'll be there today, even though we don't have hospitality. So if you need any help with anything, with the website, if it is your first time and you want to know what it's about, I'm happy to give you the lowdown, answer questions. Also, if you would like to participate but you're not able to be there the night of the auction, contact me, email me, and I will let you know. We do have absentee bidding, so we can do that for you, and I'll tell you what to do. So any questions, just give me a holler, and I'll be down afterwards to help with all the things. Thanks.
Thanks, Kristen. And it really is fun. Some people, plan their whole summer activities around these things that are going on, because nobody wants to miss being at the cabin. Nobody wants to miss the Dutch oven barbecue. So, the swimming party at the Mellings, whatever it is. These are big, nice, fun events for all of you to participate in. Let's see. There'll be donation forms, as Kristen said, it is around, so they're online for sure, and there might be some in the back. And don't feel limited. You can donate more than one item. It's very easy. So, yeah. So let us now take a moment to appreciate the warmth of our community and to arrive fully and welcome each other with joy. If you want to stand as you're willing and able, and talk for a few minutes. If you'd like to start wrapping up your conversations and returning to your seat and grabbing your gray hymnal and standing up again as you are willing and able, we are going to sing 352 in the gray hymnal, Find a Stillness. You may be seated for a minute. What was I going to say? I tried to find a hymn that we're all familiar with. I think that's one of them. And then the second hymn is a little bit, we have sung it here, and it is in the turquoise hymnal, and we'll see what we can do with that one. Now, if you would rise again, as you're willing and able. May the act of our chalice, lighting our chalice on Sunday mornings, remind us that we are stronger together, all because of the complexities and disagreements of relationship. In all the complexities and disagreements of relationships, because we are different, and because we honor and appreciate what we can learn from each other. Open your mind to new possibilities, discoveries, and dreams. May your heart be joyful and free. May your spirit be moved to deeper wisdom. When adventure beckons, may your courage arise, and may your compassion for yourself and others grow ever more rooted in loving kindness. Let your life prove this essential truth. With love, all things are possible. May this blessing wend its way into your consciousness whenever you need it the most. The world is better because you are in it, and we are so glad that you are here with us today. Let's see, where are my words? I'm trying to find the chalice words, sorry. Why it's not here? Huh. Well, okay, let's see how much I know this by heart. We will light our chalice now. For the love, for the light and truth, and for the energy of action. And for the children and young at heart, if you would like to come up front here, I'm going to do a brief, short story, but there are not very many kids here today, are there? Come on up if you want to. Hi. I'm not going to sit down because it's too hard for me to get down the stairs. That's what happens when you get old. So I just want to have a little discussion with you guys today. So do you guys have other friends that go to different churches? Yeah? There's still some more kids coming down, so I'm waiting for them to sort of like... I can do this. I'm not going to walk around. Do you have friends that go to different churches? I have a friend who's Jewish and goes to the temple, and they meet in what's called a synagogue. I have Catholic friends who go to church in a cathedral. Mormon friends who are who go to a ward house. Muslim friends who meet in a mosque. Does it matter what your friends believe? Anybody want to? Does it matter to you what your friends believe? Are you okay with what they believe if it's different? And is there any rule to that? What about as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else? Whatever you believe is right for you. And that's sort of one of the central tenets of Unitarianism, Universalist, Unitarianism, I can't find it. And today I've asked someone to come and talk to the adults after you leave, and she's going to talk about another type of church that she's very involved in, that's very much like ours. Are you lost? So what I wanted you just to think about today are your friends who don't come to this church, and they probably don't go to the big church around here, but they go somewhere. And sometimes it's fun to ask your friends, like, what do you do at church? And if someone asked you what you do in church, what would you say? You.
I would say lots of things. We learn about several religions and general good things.
Good friends, learning about new things, having extra things to do. Anybody else? What do you like about church? Do you want to answer? No? Okay. Anybody else want to take a gander at that? Well, we are a really special group of people here. We choose to come and worship together. What worship means for me is probably not what it means for you, but it's important to me and it's important to you. So what I want you today is to think about that there are other groups out there who come to church or temple or services or whatever they might call it, who are doing the same thing we are. We are here to find each other, to be in a space where to some degree, we know where it's a safe space. We know that most of the people in this room hold similar values. We can come here and see the type of people that maybe we want to see more of every day, but we don't see that in our work lives or in our schools or whatever. So I invite you to think about what church means to you, but what it might mean to the person sitting next to you in the other desk at school. It might mean something totally different. And you might want to learn about it, so you might want to ask a question or two. And know that there's a lot of faiths and paths, spiritual pathways out there that all end up in the same place. And it's just a matter sometimes of a different way of approaching what we want, which is happiness, peace, love, warmth, and connection, and love of our community. So Riley's going to go follow Riley downstairs, and they're going to have an outdoor activity.
Can I add something?
Oh, sure.
And if you have like a little kid, like a baby or 2, 3, 4, we have 2 childcare attendants downstairs. So they're welcome to stay up here with you, or they can come downstairs with us or with you with us. And Zoe and Tanu will help hang out with them. And you are also welcome to join and come downstairs, or you can stay up here. And then last, instead of bringing all the kids up at once, we ask that you come down at the end of this worship adult service and come get your kid from Children's Chapel, okay? Thank you.
So for those of you who haven't met him, that was Riley, our new Director of Religious Education, who just started in September. And I don't know if you've all met Lauren, our music director. John Allen is in Berlin doing opera. So we have had some changes lately, and it's sort of good to sometimes, I think, be reminded of new people who are here learning their jobs and might not be exactly sure yet how we operate. We share our offering in this community with a local group, and this month it is the Rose Park Community Center. We divide what we get in this offering right now. This community, our church, and its many ministries are only made possible by the gifts that you give of your time, your talent, and your treasure. Many of you pledge monthly to support our work, and for this we are grateful. Your gifts help us ensure that we are able to live our values of love and justice in the world outside. Part of our ministry includes sharing with the charitable organization. Please join me in reading our offertory words. They are printed in your order of service and on the screen. And did a couple of people want to come up and take the offer? Thank you. Board members.
We are the church. We are its hands, its heart, its voice. Together we share the love of this community and sustain it with our gifts.
We will now accept the offering. If you're at home on Zoom, please use the giving link in the online order of service. For all that we have received and all that we have found the courage to give, may we be truly thankful. May these gifts be a blessing to South Valley and to the Rose Park Community Center. Oops. Do it good. Lots of crumpled up money. I want to introduce our, first I'm doing the reading. Our reading today is from Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. And this is just one of the paragraphs from her book that I thought really fit in today. Today we have gathered, and when we look upon the faces around us to see that the cycles of life continue, we have been given the duty to live in balance and harmony with each other and with all living things. So now let us bring our minds together as one as we give our greetings and thanks to each other and all other peoples. Now our minds are one. So Sue Smith is our guest speaker today, and she is a cleric for Eckankar. I'm not even sure exactly what that means, except for that she does a lot of work and takes care of that congregation. They have been able to accomplish a lot with Sue's leadership. We share many values with the X, as they call themselves, ECKSX. We share our spirituality, hope, optimism, connections to nature and all living things. I told Sue that if I wasn't a UU, I'd be an Eck. And she said, well, if I wasn't an Eck, I'd be a UU. So we're very, we are compatible. We are different. Our paths go a little bit separate ways, but I think in the long run, we're very much aligned with each other. And I think it's good for us as Unitarians and progressive spiritual people to realize and seek out other organizations that have the same values that we do. Because in the long run, we're all going to need each other to get through all of this. Hopefully. We don't need to get through the election, but we might. So I'll introduce Sue, and she's going to talk about it. And are you going to wander around on the floor with your... Oh, okay.
I might be up there, though. I'm kind of short, so maybe I'll be up there. Thanks. Well, thank you so much for inviting me, Luci. It's always fun to be here. I've been here a few times, so some of you are familiar to me. And like Luci said, yeah, if I wasn't an Eckes, I'd definitely be a UU person for sure. They got me first. What can I say? So Eckankar, well, first let me explain. Luci explained to me that this month you have this theme about reclaiming. And so I kind of took it as, for this talk, reclaiming connections is how I look at it. Eckankar, we consider ourselves the path of spiritual freedom, which really does align itself with your welcoming statement. I love to hear it every time. Eckankar is a path where it's a spiritual teaching. It's not part of a mainstream religion necessarily, but it certainly respects all religions and all faiths and all beliefs. We do believe that we are each of us soul, and that regardless of our station in life, our culture, where we live, our race, our preferences, we're all on this journey trying to learn more, be more, and embrace more about life, as well as dealing with what life hands us sometimes. So it started in 1965 by a man named Paul Twitchell. He had studied many years in India and different places, gathered lots of different beliefs and so on, and in 1965 came back to America and refounded this ancient religion or ancient teaching called Eckankar. It wasn't called Eckankar all these years, but it became Eckankar in 1965. And I think about 1965 and what it was like back then. Some of you might remember. I don't know if you have the gray hair, you might. So, and you know, we were in the middle of the Vietnam War. We were also in the middle of a social protest in so many different areas. We had had enough of traditional beliefs, of restrictions, and ways and methods to do things a certain way. And we were really pushing for freedom back then. And I find that we're here again now in the last few years doing the same thing, because it is a constant need to be free. So this is what Eckankar teaches us, is to be free. We are called Eckist rather than X. Sorry, Eckist. Anyway, it's okay. Eckist. So we're Eckist. We follow the path of Eck. Yeah, that's okay. And Eck is another name for an audible life stream, the life force, Holy Spirit, the very fabric that keeps us all together. One of our core beliefs, as I said before, is we are all soul. And soul is eternal. It lives, it doesn't die. Our physical body may, but we do not. We are spiritual beings, and we live in eternity. So as soul, how do we all connect with each other? One of the examples I like to use is a beach, where you look at the beach as all life, all soul, all life, in all its many forms. It could be a human species, animal, plant, rock, all life, all existence. And when you pick up a piece of the beach, a piece or a handful of the beach, what you see is a handful of sand, each an individual grain of sand. And it takes all of them to make that beach. So it takes all of us in our many forms to make that beach, if that makes any kind of sense. It's interesting that I had that little remembrance here. One of the things about Ek is we like to consider it as being able to experience the light and sound. Okay, thanks for your reminder. And as we go through our lives, sometimes it's through song, it's through listening to nature, it's sometimes an inner sound that we might hear that comforts us, or an inner light. Let's see. So why are we here? That's the big question, isn't it? Why are we even here? Well, we'd like to think we're here to gain experiences, and as a soul, I need to say that we are soul. We're not a human that has a soul. We are soul. We are a soul that has a human body or another body to gain experience. And through this experience, we want to expand our awareness and expand our experiences to become more than what we started out as. More aware in the flow of life and in our awareness of each other. So, the divine, I'll call it, provides us many ways to do that. And to live life, sometimes that means we have to take risk. Sometimes we have to get out of our shell and do things because we want to do them, but maybe we're afraid to, but we have to try anyway. The other belief that we have is, people ask me sometimes, well, do you believe in sin? And in Eckankar, we do not. We believe in karma and reincarnation, which always gives us another chance. We don't believe in hell. We just think that things are challenging enough right where we are, frankly. So, but what does karma mean for us? Well, first of all, it's not a punishment. It's more of a ledger. You know, you have good deeds, not so good deeds, challenges, you do the best you can, and you come back maybe in another life to try again, you know, try a different approach or try again. And it ties in with reincarnation. The other belief that we have is this fabric that we have is a love connection. And that really is where the karma is, not so much the punishment. It's the love. So I have an example of that. Because karma and reincarnation go so well hand in hand. When I was probably in my 20s, my grandmother's mother passed away. And even though my name is Smith, it was the Jones family Bible that we were given to see, because it's the other side of the family. Yeah, we're just common folk. I'm looking through the Bible, and I see this poem that's written. And it was written by my grandmother's grandmother, who lost a son in World War I. And the poem was written in such a way, there was like 5 lines, there was about 4 verses, 5 lines each, a certain cadence. And I looked at that and I was so surprised. A couple of years earlier, I lost my brother, and in my grief, I wrote a poem, the same cadence, the same lines, and I wrote about him as a kind of a love ode to him. And so I asked my grandma, I said, Grandma, were you close to your grandma? She says, oh yes. When I was little, I lived with her. Well, I also lived with this grandma. I go, well, that's interesting. So we set that aside. A couple of years later, I took her to Pennsylvania to visit her hometown, where she grew up. Now, over the years, I had lots of dreams, and these dreams oftentimes would take place where I'm at the top of a hill, I look in the valley, and there's the little town, and off on the right, on the hill, is a cemetery, and off in the distance is a train. So I'm in Pennsylvania, we're trying to find my grandma's house, and I said, well, maybe it's up there, and we drove up, and I stopped, and I looked over to my left, and there was a scene from my dream. I said, Grandma, isn't your house right? Yes, it's right here. You stepped in the right place. So she goes in, she talks to the people, she tells them, oh yeah, there used to be a room here, or whatever, comes back. And all I could think was, wouldn't it be interesting if I was my grandma's grandma? And we came back because we were such a love bond. And these kind of realizations are what makes Eckankar so exciting for me, to learn these things about myself and about these experiences. And the only way to really learn is to have these experiences for yourself. So there's the karma and the reincarnation part. Excuse me. I had some water. I'm sorry, I should have brought my water. The other core belief is, as I talked about, this expanded consciousness and awareness, which is another form of spiritual freedom, breaking out of where we arrived at. And sometimes that takes courage, and sometimes we find ourselves doing things that we just didn't expect out of ourselves. I learned this lesson because we had 2 little dogs, and we got the first dog, a little female. She's one of those Lhasa Apsos that are supposed to have the underbite, you know, the teeth. Well, she didn't have an underbite. So we named her No Chin because she had no chin. And everybody thought, oh, she's a Tibetan dog. No, she just has no chin. And she was fine. Thank you, Brenda.
Thanks.
And then we made another decision to bring a little company for her. We had a little male dog, a puppy, brought that dog in, and No Chin kind of looked at us like, why? Didn't have much use for the little one. And he was sort of a carefree kind of little dog. No Chin did not like water of any kind, no bathing, drink it, yeah, but that's the only purpose. Whereas PC, which is the name of this little dog, loved water. And one day we had this top to a garbage can, and there was water in it from the rain, and he's running through and he's splashing back and forth, and again, No Chin is like, really? Seriously, why is this here? Doesn't like water. Well, one Christmas, soon after that, I was home tending the dogs, and I decided, it was in Virginia, it's still warm there, we'd go to the park and there's a little stream. So here's a stream, and gosh, there's no one around, so I took them off the leash, walking along, and sure enough, there goes PC in the water. Now, the stream is only about maybe this deep, but PC is only this tall. So he's flapping away, going in circles. I'm saying, come on over here. And No Chin is sitting next to me, just waiting for him to come to the edge there. He's not making it. He's just going around in circles. So I thought, I'm going to have to just go in. So I started to take my shoes off to go in, and I could see No Chin out of the corner of my eye look up and be like, oh, there's no time. She jumps in the water. She swims next to PC and literally pushes him to the edge so I can pick both of them up. Now, this is what I'm talking about, where pressed, we find that we really do have more. We can give more, and we can do unexpected things that we may not have ever considered ever doing for any other reason. So I was very impressed with that. So getting outside, expanding our consciousness and our abilities sometimes takes a little challenge. Most recently, well, not that recently, when I was first in Eck, it was a lonely time for me. And, as we all do, we hope to find the love of our life or whatever. And I was getting kind of discouraged. And so I kind of yelled at the divine. Okay, I don't recommend this necessarily, but that's what I decided to do. And I said, you know, it's all this life is supposed to be about love and learning love. Well, there's nothing to love. And this voice, this quiet voice or inner guide voice said, love the nothing. You thought that was words of wisdom. I didn't. I thought that was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard in my life. So, but it seemed that I was starting to pay attention. The first thing I noticed was these cardinal birds. And I noticed that they were like, there was a male and a female. It was springtime. It was time for romance, right? So they're on the telephone wire, and the male bird comes over and he's getting a little closer, and she lets him come as close as he possibly can, and then she goes to the other wire, and he goes, and then he goes over and he tries again, and she lets him come a little closer. She goes to the branch. And that's when I learned about reincarnation. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder how many times they're going to go through that pattern and through how many different life forms. And I hope they get together eventually before they get to the human form. But anyway, this is just observing and paying attention to love the nothing. It was such a wise thing to say. I had to tell that story. So paying attention is a main thing. Paying attention both to the outer and the inner. We also, a core belief in Eckankar is there is inner guidance. There are inner spirits, masters that teach us, and they have always been here on this planet helping us along the way. Some of us have met them as guardian angels when we were little or now, or protectors, or just in the synchronicity of how things occur. Like, why did that happen? Boy, I really needed that, or protection. So that is a very main belief that we have, is that there is inner guidance and we need to pay attention to that. We can also ask for more experiences through that inner guidance. So how do we stay connected so we can pay attention to all those things? I know you folks do meditation and contemplations, and we do the same. We do contemplate. And we have a word that we sing, the hue. It's an ancient sound. It doesn't belong to Eckankar. It can be used anywhere, sung by anyone. I know the Sufis have used it over time. And so that is one of our main words to use. And I wondered if anybody would you like to sing the hue?
Yes.
Okay, well, Brenda would. How about some of you? So if you want to do this, you can we'll just sing 3 or 4 hues just so you get the sense of it. You can just kind of relax, sit still. The hue, as you connect to it, you may hear some sound on the inner, or you may see some light. You may just have a feeling of well-being to know that you're connected. So I'm going to just sing this hue, and it just goes like this: hue, hue. May the blessings be. Thank you. As I said, you can use this hue anytime. I found that when I was working in an office, people around the table, as things got maybe a little contentious, or there might be some conflict, or, they were not behaving nicely or whatever. Sometimes I would hue to myself, and suddenly they were a lot nicer for some reason. Then I realized, maybe it was my level of tolerance that was getting improved on. Anyway, I'd like to leave you with this thought about the Ek. And this quote is one of my favorites. It's, Ek is a golden thread, so fine as to be invisible, yet so strong as to be unbreakable, which binds together all beings in all places, in all universes, throughout all time and beyond time into eternity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sue. That's very interesting. It's a religion or a pathway to ponder, for sure. And I just want to, in the spirit of meditation, hope that you can recall some of the peace that you might have experienced when we were singing, chanting, what's the word, the hue, and use that to calm yourselves in situations where you need to just calm down, breathe in, breathe out, and know you're connected to a bunch of other people. A gift to you is that we are not going to go full time today, so we're going to get ready to extinguish our chalice. Please rise as you are willing and able, and join us in our actions as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish the chalice around the warmth of love, the light of truth, or the energy of action. We hold each other in our hearts until we meet again. Well, actually, we have a benediction, then that. What? Okay. Go ahead.
We're singing Breaths. It's in the blue hymnal 1001, and it has repeats. And so we sing the first couple of pages, we go back and sing those again with new words, and you'll be able to follow along.
We'll sing both verses, and then you're going to go back a third time and sing that little introductory passage. You'll see like a little circle with a cross through that, and that's an indication to them skip to the coda, it's called, which is like the little ending repeat. So. It's kind of a poppy feeling, so it'd be listen more often to things than to beings. That's kind of the first verse. I'll give you a little intro, we'll try that again. Can we just start? Oh, you want to start? Yeah, let's start.
The benediction today is from Mark Bellatini, who was a minister, our UU minister in Columbus, Ohio for, I think, 37 years. Go now in peace. Live simply, gently, at home in yourself. Act justly. Remember the depth of your own compassion. Forget not your power in the days of your powerlessness. Do not desire to be wealthier than your peers, and stint not your hand of charity. Practice forbearance in all you do. Speak the truth or speak not. Take care of your body, it is a good gift. Crave peace for all people in the world, beginning with yourself, and go as you go with the dream of peace held firmly alive in your heart. Blessed be.